Good morning, friends. I know I'm a day late, and I'm really sorry about that. I am recording this on Friday, but you guys won't get it until Saturday because it's been a crazy first week of school. Everybody's got really bad allergies, myself included. If I sound a little sniffly and stuffy, that's why. But I thought I would do a lab question day today. So it's not a question Tuesday, but it is a question Saturday, the day I answer real questions from real dragons. So the first question I've got about this is, how many pets have I ever had in the science lab? Really good question. That is a question from Ava. Now, Ava, it's kind of a complicated question because most of the pets that we have had in the science lab in the past have been pets that I inherited. So what that means is there was a science lab teacher before me. And she was great, she was awesome, but she wanted to do something else. So she left and I took the job. When I took the job, there were already animals living here that belonged to the school and to the lab. Those animals didn't belong to me, but I was their caretaker. So when I first came in the lab, I had, let me see. I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think 5 animals. And then very shortly after I started my first year, we got our 6th. So I had Bruce the tortoise, who at the time was called Tori. I had Niles the cockatiel. I had Tiger the leopard gecko. I had 2 turtles, whose names I can't remember. And then I had the guinea pig. Oh my gosh, whose name just went entirely out of my head. What was the guinea pig's name? Carmel! Carmel the guinea pig. I had Carmel the guinea pig. And then shortly after I started my first year, we got Deanie the hamster, who came to live with us because we were reading a story about Humphrey, who is a hamster as well. Deanie the hamster came to us from the middle school, but all those other animals were already here when I got here, so they belonged to the lab. I just was the person in charge of taking care of them. I think that 7 was the most I've ever had at a single time. We did also have a snake named Dragon for a little while. We have had our 2 turtles, Michelangelo and Leonardo, who outgrew their habitat and had to move elsewhere. We've had Willow the bunny, we've had Luna the chinchilla, and of course Bruce the tortoise has been here the whole time. Let's see, Taya wants to know what is one of the coolest animals we've ever had in the lab. Really good question, Taya. I love every single one of our animals, all of them. They're all awesome in different ways. But Luna the chinchilla is actually my animal. She does belong to me, and so she's really special to me. But also, an animal I'm really missing at the moment is Tiger, our leopard gecko. Tiger was really awesome because we don't see a lot of carnivorous reptiles in the lab, and Tiger was an animal that I could have in the lab that would eat other creatures, but they were usually things like crickets, so it wasn't super stressful for me because it wasn't, animals that you find really cute or snuggly. I also eat crickets, so that didn't bother me so much. Tiger was really cool. He shed, which was awesome. So yeah, I don't know if he was the coolest animal we've ever had, but he's the one I've been thinking about the most lately. That was a really good question, Taya. Let's see, what other questions do we have about animals? Oh, Landry wants to know how I got all of my lab pets. All of them came to me different ways, Landry. Like I said, some of them were inherited with the lab. Some of them were given to me. Like, for example, Willow the bunny was given to me. Dragon the snake, our ball python that we had for a little while there, was given to me. Luna the chinchilla was also given to me. She was given to me by somebody whose friends couldn't take care of her anymore. She had a twin who met with a tragic accident, and so it was decided that those friends couldn't take care of chinchillas anymore. So Luna came to live with me, which I think has been really nice because my friends have been super sweet to her. Such good questions. Let's see if we've got other lab questions, my friends. Oh, Kessia wants to know if I have any pets of my own. I do, Kessia. I have a cat. His name is Seiji. You might have noticed his face a little bit in one of our videos earlier this year. He kind of bumped into my camera while I was filming. He's also in the video about feeding Jelly Bean, the hedgehog. You can hear him yelling in the background. He's a very noisy cat, but he's a sweetheart. And speaking of that, let's see. Audrey wants to know if we're ever going to bring Jelly Bean the hedgehog to school. That is such a good question, Audrey. Here's the problem with Jelly Bean the hedgehog. She was really, really stressed out. And she's a very difficult animal to care for to begin with. And when she started to get really stressed out by the amount of noise going on in our lab, I decided that it wasn't going to be the best environment for her. It's really important when you get an animal that you always put the needs of the animal before your own. Like, for example, I really need to get some sleep, but if I have to stay up to feed the hedgehog, then that's what I have to do. If I can't do that, then I need to find a situation that's better for the hedgehog. And that was the case with Jelly Bean the hedgehog. See, hedgehogs are nocturnal, and they eat their dinner really late at night. That doesn't work so well for me during the school year because I get tired really early. And when she got stressed out in the classroom, even though we needed to have a pet really badly and we really, really loved her a whole bunch, I decided that her need to be safe and healthy was more important than our need to have a new pet. So she is living at the middle school now, where the students are more able to take care of her and where it's a little bit quieter because that lab environment is for animals and not for experiments. So when you get to the middle school, Audrey, you'll be able to see her. So kind of I brought her to school, but mostly I brought her to the middle school. That was a good question, Audrey. I'm glad you asked it. Caleb wants to know if I'm ever going to film a video of the tortoise or the other pets. It's a good question, Caleb. In fact, I have recorded some video of them, and I will put it in now. So here's some footage of Willow hopping around, being a noodle. He gets to hop around most of the time when my students aren't in class. He stays on the green carpet for the most part because he's scared of the tile because he can't move very fast on it. He doesn't feel safe. Those are some of his toys. He would love for you to play with him with those toys. Mostly he just chews on them, but if you throw them across the carpet, sometimes he'll run after them. He loves scratches behind his ears. He's very soft, and he's a snuggly little buddy. So there's Willow. What a sweet guy. Here's some footage of Luna the Chinchilla. Luna is a little skittish, but she really loves scratches under her chin. I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but her little foot has come all the way up off the top of her house. She's so happy about getting scratches under her chin. She's such a cutie. Ow! Not for biting. Not for biting. That's very rude. Rude, rude, rude. Let's get some more scratches under your chin. Make you happy again. So Luna the Chinchilla's hair is really, really dense and thick. So she can't feel a lot of things bumping into her, which is why she pushes up against the walls of her cage so much. So I'm going to give her a treat real quick. Do you want this treat, sweet girl? Oh, that's so sweet. So she is a rodent, so she eats a lot like a squirrel would, holding that food up to her face and taking. All right, Lola wants to know what kind of pets I think kids should have. That is a really good question, Lola, and a really important one. Because the answer is that it depends on the kids. Some kids can have more complicated pets, and some kids need to have simpler pets. Some kids are really well suited to the needs of a reptile that doesn't really always want to snuggle, but it requires a high amount of work. Some kids are more suited to an animal like a cat or a dog that really likes to snuggle, but doesn't require the more intricate environment that a reptile would. So it really depends on you. If you're a kid who's willing to do the research and commit to doing the work to make sure that an animal stays happy and healthy, has the environments and all of its needs met, then you're the type of kid who can have that type of animal. Like I said about Jelly Bean the hedgehog, I thought I was prepared to do all the work and for our environment to be the best for her. But once I got her, she wasn't happy in this environment. And you have to be willing to do whatever it takes to take care of your animal, even if it means finding that animal a better environment. Do your research ahead of time and know what temperament your animal is likely to have so that you don't have to fall in love with an animal you have to give up later. That was a really good question, and I love all of our questions. You guys, we've gotten so many good questions for Question Tuesday, and I'm hoping to do Question Tuesday next week so I can answer some of the questions that aren't about me and the lab. The last question I'm going to answer today is Rylan wants to know what I did over the summer. So sweet of you to ask, Rylan. I had a really kind of weird summer. Usually I go on a couple of trips with a group I work with, but this summer after my surgery I wasn't able to do that. So the only trip I took was to Wisconsin to go to my grad school class. I started taking a class called Systematic Theology, and it was a lot of work, but it was well worth it. So I did my homework a whole bunch over the summer. I took some tests, I wrote some papers, and mostly I got ready to see you guys again. So it's good to have you all back in the lab. It's good to be doing experiments again, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye, dragons.